lived around, maybe your house is close to a mosque. Very early in the morning, they cry for prayers, and this was the same for me when I was on campus. I was in my hostel, and the cry for prayers, I was awake, getting set for classes that morning. And the imam, or the person who was in charge that morning, began to teach, and he was quoting the Bible, talking to Christians, so to speak, saying that women are not supposed to preach in church, women are not supposed to be in authority in church, but that is what is happening today, which means we are not following what is in the Bible. At first, one part of me was like, what's your business? And I was curious. I said, let me go and check exactly if what he was saying was in the Bible. Lo and behold, what he was saying was there. And it was one of my favorite writers that said what he was quoting, Paul. And one part of me was like, oh, just leave that part of the Bible. Don't, just your reservations, and just put it one side. So I was going to reject that part of the Bible, but I understand that if you reject one part of the Bible, you reject the whole part of the Bible. So everything is put together for my edification, for my reproof, right? So, and I was like, what am I going to do? And many of us are like that. There are a lot of things that you found in the Bible, you can't relate. You are like, these things was written for people, and you reject those things from it. So, this is what I did. The faith began to understand the Bible. I began to understand how to read the Bible. So some of the things that you are reading that you are confused about, you don't understand, I'm going to share with you briefly how to understand it. Number one, if you're reading the Bible, you must first of all go through the process of interpretation. The interpretation is reading in context. There's a whole lot about reading in context. I will not be able to share it in this video, but you have to do interpretation first, which is reading in context, those who it was written to, what it meant to them, how the political system there, the religious system at that time. You have to read all of those things. That's what it means to read in context, right? Now, then you now go further to get the principle behind what was said, right? So that principle is more or less like the lesson or the message. So then before you now go into application. Now, application is where that thing that you read, where it applies to you, how it relates to you personally, as you know, as a married person, as pertaining to any situation, being a single person, a career person, a business person, a child, a student, how it applies to you. So 3 phases. It has to go through interpretation, reading the Bible in context, go through principles, getting the message from it, and applying that principle. These are the 3 aspects that you have to go through to understand the Bible carefully. So please, if there's anything that is confusing you, drop it in the comment section, and we're going to be looking at it together. And I'm very, very sure you're going to get proper understanding. God bless you, and I'll see you next time.